Who's the most unexpected person you had sex with? A week after my wife said that she wanted a divorce, I went on a vacation to Costa Rica that we were supposed to do together. I used it for some grieving time and figuring out what to do with my life. I was not interested in dating or hookups or rebounds. But then I started talking to this other American gal in line at the ice cream shop, and then we met up for dinner, and then we stayed up late drinking, and then we had sex on our raincoats in the jungle. Luckily she had condoms. It was real nice. That was 11 years ago. We've been married for 7, and our daughter is 3. I was at a college Halloween party dressed as Willie Robertson from Duck Dynasty, and a girl dressed in a full banana suit had sex with me in the bathroom. Neither of us took our costumes off. I don't even know who she is. My wife, the other day, was 95% sure we were just going to go to sleep. My sister's college roommate. I hated that bitch, still do. My female boss during my summer job at a coffee shop. I went on a cruise to the Caribbean by myself when I was 25. I met a recently divorced 42-year-old mom of 3 the last night of the cruise, also by herself. We stayed up the entire night the last night in my room. She skipped her flight the next day and I drove her to Atlanta where she lived, from the port of Miami. We got a hotel downtown and all night. I took her to her car at the Atlanta airport the next morning and will never see her again. Random girl I met on a coach from Amsterdam to Brussels. We were both traveling alone and she came and sat across from me and asked if I wanted to hang out. After an hour or so of chatting she asked to see my so I obliged. There was only 2 other people on the coach, and as we were traveling through the night they were sat up front and they appeared to be asleep. Before I knew it we were on the back seat and 2 more times before we got to Brussels. She gave me a kiss and we parted company. Totally random event. Co-worker at summer camp. I liked her a lot but I was too afraid to make a move. A bunch of us went to a friend co-worker's place for the weekend, and on Saturday night she walked in and laid down next to me on the air mattress. Me, being clueless, was like hey, and she just sits up, saddles me and starts kissing me. It went from there and it was fun. I'm a heavy dude though, and at some point the air mattress cap popped off and it deflated. Took me a minute to realize that I was just laying on the floor. She went to the bathroom to clean up and I got the air pump to re-inflate the mattress. And guess everyone else heard colon. My boss when I was 19. She was the manager and talked me into being her love for a raise. This hot ass bartender who was absolutely out of my league when he asked what else are you doing tonight in a friendly, I wanna be tipped well kinda way, and I said you, and he said I like that plan. Here's my address. Female best friend's best friend. She always hated me for some reason. Ended hooking up throughout high school though. It's a tie between my boss's niece and the pastor's daughter. My best friend from high school. She picked me up and we went back to the place she was house sitting. Didn't know it was my old history teacher's house until the next day. 44-year-old woman from NC. Best sex I ever had. Everything else after felt like cheap, no brand snacks after a few times with her. I guess one of my teachers after I graduated, or one woman who I would clash with all the time that I knew from work. 26 years ago I knew my wife, but we absolutely hated each other. Today we've been together for 10 years and I can't imagine life without her. While on the men's rowing team at college I hooked up with the women's coach for a while. Didn't really see that happening. A girl from my college, keep in mind that I was a fat ugly back then, and still now, and this girl just kept showing interest in me up to the point we had sex for a few months and she paid for the hotels and dinners and all. She's light years out of my league so it still confuses me up to this moment. Edit. Grammar. German exchange student. My ex-boyfriend's mom. A female A-list celebrity. Met in Hawaii on a hike. She rolled her ankle and had heat stroke. I stopped to help her. I had a med kit. Taped her ankle. Shared my H2O and snacks. Brought her to her car where her friends were waiting for her. I was totally shocked once I realized who she was. I left and did not ask for her number because I got intimidated. She drove off. Next few days I couldn't stop thinking about how I blew my opportunity. I was disappointed in myself. 3 days before leaving I was running on the road near Poipu. A jeep pulls over in front of me. She steps out. I spent the next 2 weeks with her. Lost my job because I stayed with her. In 2017 I was on the same island with my wife and kids. Ran into her husband and kids. My wife pulled my shirt and said, "That's the actress you told the story to me about. Prove your story." So I walked up, said hello. My friend's sister. She is hot, so I guess why not. It happened 7 years ago. Now we are married for 4 years. Yet friend is actually still my best friend. Edit, grammar. Probably my ex's best friend. She was the one who told me that my ex cheated on a night out. I then saw her during Freshers Week at uni and ended up back at her dorm for a party. Lot of flirting and dirty talk, and I thought it. She hurt me and her friend was hot, so we were hanging out at a friend's house and a friend of my friend, girl, was kinda drunk and saying I was gay because I wouldn't talk too much to her. Kept insulting me, then all of a sudden she grabbed me and took me to her room. Her ex was with us and just watched. I was not aware that was her ex and that he still loved her, and she had a BF at the time and wasn't aware either. Crazy girl. I second shift supervisor. I was first shift supervisor. I don't know how it even happened. We worked at a notorious building, I guess you could say, did security. The building was always empty. For its size, there wasn't too many people and we had the keys to go anywhere. We did it on the roof with a city view, in the office bathroom, in a huge storage room, in our boss's office. The craziest part is I really never saw it coming. He was a sneaky one. He really buttered me up and gained my trust before even busting a move at all. What started off as a rooftop turned into insatiable lust that I'll honestly remember for the rest of my life. On a different Reddit account suited for more adult needs, I went to a local A4R subreddit and posted. Got SG'd from another redditor saying come bang my wife, and well, I ended up doing it. She was like 4-5 years older than me but was ridiculously attractive. So it really felt weird, partially because I thought she was too hot for me, and married. Sir, this is Reddit, we don't have sex. On Halloween I dressed as a girl from the original Star Trek. I had sex with a random guy dressed as Spock. Still a high point of mine. I was banging the mayor's daughter when I was in college. That was interesting, to say the least. My waitress. In back of the restaurant. I broke up with a girl I had only started seeing and we had sex right there. I asked her why, and she said that she knew it would be her last chance to have sex with me. Okay, I'm fine with that. The camp counselor I had a crush on when I was 11. I ended up running into her when I was 18. Didn't know it was her until we got a pillow talk. Best surprise ever. We called last call at the bar I worked at, and this one older woman I'd thrown a flirt at took my hand and asked if there was somewhere we could make out. We went into the alley out back and just went to town. What made it unexpected was I had jokingly said to my friend earlier before work that I wanted to bang a MILF. My boyfriend. We were friends for years and I had a huge crush on him, but I felt like it was having a crush on a teacher, completely useless. So I never gave it away because I didn't want to embarrass myself. He watched me go through a few different failed relationships and run around unmedicated with bipolar. While we got along great and hung out once in a while, I assumed he thought I was an unpredictable idiot, lol. In 2020 the relationship I was in crashed and burned. I finally got diagnosed and medicated. A few months later he invited me over for a beer after work, which wasn't unusual. But to my extreme surprise he made a move on me and we've been together ever since. I never imagined it would ever happen. It's a very happy, healthy relationship, but every now and then I'm struck with disbelief it's actually happening, in a way. Eartha Kitt, airplane bathroom. Female bodybuilder. I banged a teacher for almost a year. Best sex of my life. An NHL player's son. Life. She me real hard. After I got 100,000 karma on Reddit, Anya Taylor-Joy slept with me. College professor. My bully's girlfriend in the high school band room. I'm not sure if she was looking to be vengeful or just horny, but yes, in one of the practice rooms. You never really expect a female to say yes, grab your hand and lead you to a different room when you ask if she wants to have sex. He wasn't there. It was 45 minutes after school. My buddies were waiting for their ride home, realized what we were doing, after we just disappear into a side room and turn the lights off, and they decided to play the Jaws theme song, which made the sex last longer as it interrupted the moment. It was pretty hot knowing that I was cucking the guy that literally had called me a cuck. As a kid who grew up very sheltered and nerdy, basically any sexual conquest I made after high school still kind of baffles me to this day. Went through a period of sex addiction and had some gross hookups cause I was drunk and would take anything with little effort. The worst was an older woman, prob about 60, who was married and was too super into it. After just meeting, she was talking about inviting me to parties where her family would be and having sex in another room. I asked if her husband had a gun and she said yeah and seemed to get off on it. After our first and only hookup, I deleted her number and ignored her. I did 2 sisters and both of their individual best friends once, all individually at separate times, and all of them know about it and we're cool with it. I never would have thought that possible. Dave Navarro. He slid into my DMs on Twitter and I thought, why the hell not? Now I have a crazy story about the worst sex I've ever had. Related, but I'm gay now. When I was in the Air Force, I was actually stationed on an army base. There was this red-haired MP that checked my badge every single day, but I honestly never really gave her a second thought. In uniform, she just wasn't very eye-catching. She probably had a sports bra on under her BDUs. She wore no makeup ever, and always had her hair pulled back in a bun. Never flirted or chatted with me. She was just kind of, you know, mundane. Anyway, I ran into her at a club off base one night. She looked very attractive. We chatted, drank, danced a bit, drank some more, made out. And then I was back on base in the army barracks. How many of you have started typing up your story, started thinking about it and go, nah, I ain't gonna share that and discard the post? I dated a black girl when I was 18-19 years old. It surprised a lot of people because I for some reason get pegged as a racist even though my best friends were black and Latino. Apparently I have a racist look about me. That opinion pissed me off then, and 20 years later it still pisses me off. A Pringles can with 2 sponges and latex gloves. I lost my virginity to my mother's best friend. I was 18. She was 40. It wasn't that good, but I've matured to learn it also wasn't that bad. My non-dominant hand. When I was 20 years old, a 28-year-old MILF co-worker who was moving away told me straight up in my face at work out of the blue that she wanted to do it with me before she moved. She was hot and I thought it was a prank, but she sent me nudes right away. I lied to my parents and told them that I was scheduled to work on a Sunday. They were 12-hour shifts from 6 AM to 6 PM, so I had to be away from home that long. She paid for the hotel and we had sex all day. Sex was great. Most unexpected. I was using a fake ID to get into bars when I was like 18, and somehow, I managed to have sex with a stripper that I met at a strip club in Phoenix. Still baffled how I managed that as a wet behind the ears kid. A fellow McDonald's employee years ago who spoke zero English. I used to bartend and wait tables in the 80s. The number of women who would leave their number for you might surprise you. I left most of them alone, but once in a while there would be some really surprisingly good looking women leaving their number. That one guy's dead wife. I was a college TA. One of the students, the semester after I taught his class. Worth it. Stepmom's sister lol. Dad married a younger woman. So I established dominance by screwing his sister-in-law. A nun? 60-plus-year-old man, well 19. It was actually a great experience as he was very thorough, highly skilled, quite handsome and in fantastic shape. Not gonna go into the situation in which it happened, however, and it was a one-time experience. A girl that hated my guts. Sexes at Reddit. What is the sexiest sex you sexed with the sexiest sexes? Honestly, between the ages of 19 and 31, any woman I had sex with was a surprise. Little geek and HS, so it always came as a surprise.